The scariest thing I've ever experienced didn't happen at night. It didn't happen on some back road, or in an abandoned building, or anywhere you'd expect something bad to happen. It happened in a public park, on a bright morning, with fresh air, a jogging trail, and a little lake people took pictures of. I used to tell people nothing bad ever happens in places like that. Now when people ask me why I don't jog anymore, I just tell them I got lazy. The truth is, I won't go near that park again. Not after what I saw in those trees. I lived about a 10-minute walk from the park. Back then, I was one of those people who actually stuck to morning runs. The routine felt safe, predictable. I'd wake up around 5:30, drink some water, stretch a little, and be out the door by 5:45. By 6 o'clock, I'd be on the loop, the same paved trail that wrapped around the lake and cut through a few clusters of trees. There were regulars, too. The woman with the golden retriever, the older guy who always stretched by the same bench, the couple who power walked like they were training for the Olympics. I saw their faces so often that they felt more familiar than some of my coworkers. It wasn't exactly a community, but it felt like one of the last normal parts of my life. It was late September when things changed. The first time I noticed something was wrong. It was so minor I almost didn't register it. I woke up earlier than usual that morning, closer to 5:15, and couldn't fall back asleep. I figured, screw it, I'll just go sooner and get it over with. When I got to the park, it was darker than I was used to. The sky was still that dark blue just before sunrise. The lamps in the parking lot were on. The trail was almost empty. The only person I recognized was the same older guy, stretching by his usual bench near the path entrance. I gave him the usual nod. No nod back, but that wasn't anything new. I put in my earbuds, took a breath, and started my run, and at first, it felt like every other morning. About 10 minutes into the run, I hit the wooded section, the part of the trail that cuts through a dense cluster of trees before opening up again near the lake. That's when it hit me. Something felt wrong. I couldn't put my finger on it at first. Then I realized what it was. No birds, no footsteps behind me or ahead of me. Not even the sound of cars from the road on the other side of the park. Just my breathing and my footsteps, that was it. I took my earbuds out, thinking maybe it was just the music making everything sound off. But it was even worse in the quiet. I rounded a bend in the trail, and my foot hit something that wasn't pavement. I stumbled, caught myself, and looked down. There was a single shoe lying in the middle of the path. A men's running shoe. Perfectly upright, almost dead center, like someone had set it there on purpose. No scuffs, no mud, not soaked in dew like it should have been, just placed. I picked it up without really thinking. It felt warm, like it hadn't been there very long. That was when I made the mistake of looking into the trees. At first, I thought I saw a shadow between the trees. Just a shape, nothing distinct. I squinted, letting my eyes adjust. There, maybe 15 feet off the trail, I saw him, the old man from the bench. He was standing perfectly still between two tree trunks. Not stretching, not moving. Just standing there. He wasn't facing me directly. His body was turned slightly away, like he'd been walking deeper into the woods and just froze mid-step. His arms hung a little out from his sides, elbows bent. Sir," I called out. No response. No flinch. He could have been a statue. I took a few steps off the path, just enough to see past him. That's when I realized he wasn't alone. Behind him, deeper between the trees, stood two more figures. A woman's, and what looked like a teenage boy. Same pose, same angle, same unnatural stillness. None of them were looking at me. They were all turned slightly away, like they were facing some invisible point in the woods. Something in my brain finally caught up with my body. My stomach went cold. The shoe was still in my hand. I backed up until my foot hit the edge of the trail again. I was about to turn and walk away. That's when the old man's head turned. Not his shoulders, not his torso, just his head. It rotated toward me in this slow, grinding motion, like the hinge was rusty. And when his eyes met mine, every instinct in my body told me to run. His mouth opened, too wide, like his jaw unhinged. He didn't yell, didn't make any sound. He just moved. 1 second he was locked in place. The next he was sprinting straight at me. I don't remember deciding to run. My body just did it. I dropped the shoe and took off down the trail, nearly rolling my ankle in the process. I could hear him behind me. His footsteps weren't normal. They were too heavy, like he was slamming his feet into the path on purpose. Each step echoed in my skull like a drumbeat. I wanted to look back. I really did. But some instinct told me if I looked back, I wouldn't get away. Branches blurred past me. The trail opened up a little as I neared the edge of the wooded section. I pumped my legs harder than I ever had in my life. Right as I broke out of the trees into the open field near the lake, the footsteps stopped. Just like that, like someone hit mute. I kept running a few more steps, then finally turned around, gasping for air. The tree line was still empty. No old man, no woman, no teenage boy, just a dark wall of trees. I stood there, shaking, waiting for him to come bursting out after me. He never did.